Well, hello there, YouTube. So today we're cutting a few soybeans. This is our first day of soybean harvest, and we didn't know all year what the beans were going to yield. We knew they were going to be really good, but if there's anything on this planet that can fool you, it's soybeans. So now that we're into some, we are very pleasantly surprised. I'll show you here. These are a 3.4 Pioneer, planted in early April. They did have fungicide on them. Might be hard to tell from the camera. They're lodged a fair amount, but we are getting them picked up just fine. Ain't really no issues there. But here's the good news. This is our instant average right here. That's our field average there. And we're about 25 acres into a 45 acre field. And that is very impressive. Prior to this, the best beans I had ever cut was in 2018, which was the best soybean crop we ever had across the board. Had a lot of beans in the mid 70s that year, but this field right here that's in corn, that 38 acres averaged 82 bushel that year. Or yeah, 82. So that's the best that I've ever cut prior to this. So I don't really see anything that'll drag this yield down. We got to cut basically right over here to the corner of this cornfield. So there's about, I don't know, 7, 8, I'd have to look at the monitor, 7, 8, 9 acres left, whatever it is. And we got to cut the ones on the other side of that too, but that's a different farm. But I just don't see anything out there yet that's going to drag this average way down. I mean, it might come off 91 a little bit. It may get better, I don't know. But nonetheless, these will by far be the best beans we've ever cut. Now the one thing that's a little bit different today is you can see I'm only running about 3.4. Normally that's going to be about 4.8 to 5 with a draper like this, 30 footer, no issue at all. You can cut good dry beans all day long at that speed and not have a bit of trouble. But with these being lodged, and then there's just so much material coming into the combine and the yield's so good, it's really putting a load on her. So we got her slowed down. I could maybe go a hair faster, but you know, there's just so many of them lodged. I just want to try to get them picked up and not be running stuff over. So we're going to hang out in this range for now until something changes. A normal yield on this field right here, which this is, oh, it's probably the best ground we got, I would say. Normally on just an average year, these beans will be between 60 and 65 bushel an acre. So that kind of tells you there when we're running 91 as to how good these really are. So we're extremely pleased with that. Well, the first field's done. It ended right there at that post, and now we got 20 acres right here that joined it. The first field ended up at 91 bushel an acre. Hands down the best beans I've ever cut, so we will gladly take that. The field here that joins it is running 85 and a half right now. So that's really, really good too. I'll gladly take that any day of the week. These over here ain't lodged quite as bad. In a few spots they are, but overall as a whole, they seem to be standing a little better. So that's a plus. We're able to go a little faster in places. But yep, so far so good. Really, really impressed. Well, the bean cutting for today's done. We had 76-ish acres here. That's all we got ready. So we're actually going to switch back over to corn now. Got the draper set off, so I'll run this back over to the farm and slap the corn head on, and we will start shucking corn again in the morning. We done some switching around. I picked 36 acres of corn yesterday. Didn't have time to do any filming. We were in some rough ground back in the timber, short throughs and whatnot, so I didn't take the time, I guess. So that's my fault. But we switched back over to beans today. I was a little leery if they were ready or not. Couldn't quite tell looking from the road. Still a lot of green and yellow in them, but they're tested 12, so I'll show you what we got here. These are Pioneer Enlist 38T21, I think it is. What is it here? 38T76. And there's our instant average, or instant coming in, and there's our field average. Absolutely unbelievable. I've never seen yields like this ever. I mean, it is just crazy. And this farm that we're on here, I'm going to call it middle of the road. I mean, it's got some pretty poor areas on it in the north, on the north end of it. But so you know, it's by no means just really good black dirt. So that's pretty impressive what it's doing. I'm extremely happy. The only complaint I got, the beans are lodged, which that's just the way they are. I think everybody's are lodged this year, but nonetheless, we'll go slow for that kind of yield. Well, boys, she's getting dirty out. We got done with the field I was on earlier that was averaging, what was it, 93 or 91, whatever it was. It ended up averaging 89. So we've come a half mile down the road, same bean, planted the same day, and this is averaging 85.3, and it's still climbing. We're about half done on 70 acres, not quite half, something like that. So I'm pretty optimistic. You know, it's going to be between 85 and 90, I think. So we'll gladly take that. But these ain't lodged quite as bad. They're still lodged in places, but we're able to run, anywhere from 4 to 5, depending on which part of the field you're in. Some of these down here that are standing better, I can run closer to 5. I'm having trouble. I got to run my reel a lot lower because they're lean just enough, and it's tend to want to throw things over. Normally you wouldn't run it that low, but you can see how they're leaned and kind of going every which way here. So I got to kind of run things a little bit different. So we're back at her again today. We cut till, I don't know, maybe 7 o'clock last night. It got pretty tough in a hurry. The average is actually coming up on this field a little bit. We're up to 88.5, and we got about 9 acres left. So once again, extremely pleased with the yield here. So we're just finishing up. Looks like we're going to have an 88 bushel average. I'll take that. Got this field done, so now we're going to head down to the Kaskaskia River bottom. Made her down to the river bottom. There's the river right there. These beans are standing pretty good. They're not really lodged any to speak of. Yielding 76, which I've probably cut through all the worst spots in the field, so I can't help but think that that yield ain't going to get a little bit better here, but time will tell. Well, we're still cutting. Got that big field here in the river bottom done, ed up the road here half a mile, and got another 40 acres here. These are averaging 73.8. They should get a little bit better than that. But it seems like in the places in this field where they're good, they're really good, and the places where they're bad, they're really bad. So I highly doubt we'll crack the 80 bushel mark in this field, but I would say anything over 70 I'll be pretty satisfied with. So we'll keep pecking away at it and see what happens here. For those of you that follow me on TikTok, that's old Mike Burkhart, Farming TBI Dad there in the grain cart. He come to help us for a week, so he's been a big help. But yeah, getting along pretty good so far. Luckily we get done down here in the river bottom. We'll move back up home tomorrow, and then we should have a lot of cutting to do up just right there around the house. So that'll be nice, getting everything done away from home. There's a pretty good chance of maybe upwards of an inch of rain this weekend. Today's Thursday. I think that's coming in Saturday. So hopefully we can at least get several more beans cut and get moved back up home. That way if it does rain, we're not all strung out all over the place. Well, we got done down in the river bottom a little bit ago. We're up here on the prairie now. Main farm's right over there, but this farm here's got some really low ground on it over here, and so there's several drown out spots. There's a big surface ditch runs up through the field there, and everything in that drowned out. I even replanted them and lost them again. So the spots where there are beans, the beans are really good, but where they kind of fall off, then they're really bad. But you know, like you can see here, we're running 85, 87. We're averaging 80. I don't know if that'll hold or not. I'm thinking this field's probably going to be more 70 to 75. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, they're really nice here, but boy, you know, my past experiences is it don't take very many bad spots to really knock an average yield down. So we'll keep pecking away at it, see what we got here. But overall, you know, they're not going to fall on their face. It ain't like they're going to be no 50, 60 bushel, I don't think. But I think the upper 80s and 90s won't be showing their face on this field anytime soon. Well, we're about done with this field. We're going right with the wind. Boy, that makes her hard to see. But yield has actually hung in there pretty decent. We're at 76 bushel an acre, so pleasantly surprised with that too. I knew it would be off, you know, from the rest of the farms we've been on, because man,
gotta go again.
There was water damage everywhere out here, but we'll definitely take that. Could be a lot worse. Well, we got them beans cut last night. Man, they was tough cutting. And then it ended up coming a shower last night. We ended up with about, I don't know, 7/10 of rain, roughly an inch on other farms, depends on where you're at. So that's going to put us out for today. So I come up, going to fuel up the combine, dump a few trucks, and then I'm probably going to go home and hit the couch. So we're going to cut this one off here, guys. I don't even know where all we've been on this video, all over the place, I'm sure. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Keep it tuned right here to the Growing Corn YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.